Right, so today we are talking about three different controversies. I think most all three of them involve New Jack, which isn't surprising. But the first one we're going to talk about is the XPW free fall incident with Vic Grimes. So I'm going to start with that. So this was in February of 2002, and New Jack met Vic Grimes in a scaffold match at XPW's free fall event. As the final maneuver of the match, Jack shocked Grimes with the taser before throwing him off the scaffolding, sending him crashing into the ring 40 feet below. There was over 12 tables stacked on top of each other in the ring to break the fall, of which Grimes missed all but two, came within a foot of missing the ring completely, which could have killed him. Let's see if I can actually find the picture of, well, not a picture, but something of the incident. So I found, with the way I've put my screen record on it, I can't get the whole picture, but there is when New Jack had pushed him off. So Grimes broke his fall on the top rope, dislocating his ankle among other injuries. In the 2005 documentary Forever Hardcore and the 2020 episode of Dark Side of the Ring, centered around him, Jack claimed that this was a break from the script and he intended to throw Grimes so hard that he would fall headfirst onto the steel turnbuckle and be killed. This was done, according to Jack, over the grudge based on Grimes not contacting him when he was recovering from his injuries after the fall in Danbury. However, Art O'Donnell, a writer of the WrestleCap, disputes this, citing Jack's apparent concern for Grimes' safety in a previous match for XPW and how intentional the spot seemed. So this section of the video, that's all I've got, so it's only a 2-minute bit, so that's why I'm doing a short video for three different bits that using, because I know I've done the I believe I've done the mass transit when I did, I believe so. I remember talking about the mass transit thing that you did, but I don't know if that was when I did I do New Jack? I might have done. Let me just check on my phone whether I've done about New Jack and the mass transit, because I cannot remember whether I did mass transit on a separate video or if I did in a did a video on its own or with New Jack. I'll have to check. Controversies. No, I haven't done one on that. I've done 4 different controversies in the mass transit. It wasn't one of them, so I must have done. Two wrestlers. No, so I haven't done the mass transit incident yet, which I could do another video on that. So I don't know how I'll add it to this one. I'll have to see. But now we're going to get into the Gypsy Joe incident. Right, so this bit, this was in 2003. New Jack participated in a hardcore match with veteran wrestler Gypsy Joe. Before the match, Jack met Joe and asked the booker of the show what he was supposed to do with him. Jack was told Gypsy Joe was as tough as leather. Jack replied that he was not going to lose $1 value from this match and would not have comedic or gimmick match, but that he would kill, in quotation marks, Joe in the match for unknown reasons. Joe continuously no-sold New Jack during this match, and Joe headbutted Jack in the nose. Jack got angry with Joe and decided to get genuine sales from by legitimately attacking the 69-year-old man with a chain. Framed picture of his aunt and a baseball bat in barbed wire and several weapons. The crowd were horrified by Jack's savage beating of this man. either left the show in disgust or started calling Jack the N-word. And in an interview in Outside the Ring 2019, Jack stated, "The more they called me the N-word, I can't say that word, but I'm not allowed to for multiple reasons, but the more they called him the N-word, the angrier I got, and the more he beat up Joe." So that's that bit done. The next bit we are going to do is stabbing William Jason. And then what I might do, because this is going to be called, I'll probably call this like New Jack's controversies, a few of them, because he probably has a lot more. But after done stabbing William Jason, I'm going to go back in time to do the mass transit because I don't remember, I don't have any videos on it, I don't believe. But for some reason I feel like I've thought about doing a video on that. But let's go on to the next one, which is stabbing William Jason. If I can get right, so stabbing of William Jason. This was in 2004. New Jack was wrestling for Thunder Wrestling Federation and was scheduled to fight fellow wrestler William Jason Lane at an event near Jacksonville, Florida. During the match, Lane, to New Jack's surprise, began punching him in the face, legitimately, and landed a few blows. New Jack pulled out a metal blade from his camouflage wrestling attire and stabbed Lane multiple times in the head. New Jack stated in the Vice documentary Dark Side of the Ring that the news stated that he stabbed Lane 16 times, but New Jack stated it was 9 because he counted. This action caused New Jack to receive various felony charges, including aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and aggravated assault to commit murder. New Jack claimed that the two met prior to the match and agreed to use a piece of metal to inflict injury. Despite this, police officers who were reporting the incident stated that it looked like it went past a routine of wrestling match. The promoter of the event, Mr. Maurice Williams, claims that the event was never intended to be hardcore. New Jack then announced his retirement on XPW's A Cold Day in Hell in 2008. But then he ended up continuing working in independent shows. So this was going to be a bit shorter. I think this one is. So we are going to probably go into the mass transit incident. But I'm going to have a double check that I definitely haven't done it. First. Alright, so we are going to go into the mass transit because I double checked I haven't done it. So New Jack was involved in the mass transit incident on November 23rd, 1996 in Revere, Massachusetts. Gangsters were scheduled to face Devon Dunley and Axel Rotten. Rotten missed the show and was replaced by Mass Transit, or his real name Eric Kulis, an untrained 17-year-old who convinced Booker Paul Heyman that he was 21 and had been trained by Killer Kowalski. Kulis requested that New Jack blade him during the match, but the incision was made incorrectly, causing excessive bleeding. Kulis was hospitalized as a result, eventually receiving 50 stitches. New Jack was charged with aggravated assault stemming from the incident, but was acquitted because Kulas had asked New Jack to cut him. Kulas subsequently sued New Jack and ECW for damages in 1998, but lost the case, and then Kulas died May 12, 2002 at the age of 22 due to complications from gastric bypass surgery. I am going to look for more information on mass transit just to make this a bit longer in general. So I'm going to get a bit deeper into this now. Axel Rollin had been scheduled to work the tag team match with Devon against the Gangsters, could not make the show due to a family emergency. Dudley later stated that it was the death of Rotten's grandmother. The show was also scheduled to feature dwarf wrestler Tiny the Terrible and Half Nelson against 70-year-old Eric Kulas, who performed as Mass Transit, a Ralph Cramden-esque bus driver. Kulas convinced ECW owner and booker Paul Heyman to fill him in for Rotten by claiming he was 21. And then Heyman later said that he did not know Kulas' age. New Jack later claimed that he had attempted to dissuade Kulas from going through with the match. Instead, Kulas asked New Jack to blame him since he never had done it himself, to which New Jack agreed. During the match, Dudley and New Jack brawled outside the ring, while Said and Transit fought inside the ring. The match was booked as a squash, with Dudley quickly isolated outside the ring and told not to return by the Gangsters. The Gangsters then double-teamed Kulas inside the ring, with Jack pummeling him with crutches, toasters, and various other objects in the hardcore style for which ECW was known, which Dudley stated were legitimate items and not gimmicked. And at the end of the match, New Jack bladed Kulas with a scalpel as the two had agreed, but it cut too deep and severed two arteries. He screamed in pain, then lost consciousness. Blood poured out of his head. The event was a house show, thus not televised, but RF video was handed on a hand with a fan camcorder, recorded the match for that ECW fan cam series, and the footage was eventually used as evidence of legal proceedings. The video showed New Jack quietly asking Kulas, "Are you alright?" which Kulas replies, "Yeah, I'm fine." Next, the Gangsters proceed to work Kulas over even more with elbow drops and various objects, prompting Kulas' father to scream, "Ring the fucking bell, he's 17," as medics rushed the aid of Kulas. New Jack grabbed the house microphone and attempted to garner heat. "I don't care if this other effort dies, he's white, I do not like white people, I do not like people from Boston, I'm the wrong N-word to F with." So, the repercussions of the mass transit incident was it led to cancellation of ECW's first ever pay-per-view, Barely Legal, by the pay-per-view provider Request TV on Christmas Eve 1996. Heyman, by his own admission, in the rise and fall of ECW, begged and pleaded with the request and finally convinced the company that ECW had been misled about Kulas' age. The pay-per-view was then placed back on schedule as usual. So Kulas and his family later gave an interview to this syndic tabloid program, Inside Edition, which the footage from the incident segment depicted Kulas as innocent, even going as far as showing that Heyman did not ask for any state identification. The story is completely before Kulas' launch of their lawsuit, so the key details of how Kulas actually got himself into the match were not made public at that point. So 3 years after, New Jack was tried with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, and was later sued by the Kulas family after hearing Kulas ask to be put through a quit New Jack, and he was later not found liable in civil court. Wrestlers testified that Kulas was extremely arrogant and demanding backstage prior to the match, and when told that he would not have to bleed as part of the match, Kulas asked New Jack to blade him since he had never done it. Dudley stated that he knew things were about to go south when Kulas introduced him to New Jack and wanted to suggest some ideas, both a violation of unwritten rules of younger wrestlers not taking the lead from veterans, as well as New Jack being New Jack. So in the book of the Rise and Fall of ECW, it also states that the medic crew carried Kulas out. He was escorted by Tommy Dreamer, who held his hand to comfort him. Passing by an audience, Kulas began giving them the finger, playing the bad guy. So authorities later determined that Kulas lied about his age. Kulas claimed to be 21, but he was actually 17. He also claimed to have been trained by Killer Kowalski, and his father vouched for him. but Kulas had never been trained to wrestle. Dudley said that the culture was different in 1996. I think that you simply took people's word as a fact as opposed to the modern day where promoters are do their due diligence and check someone's credentials before booking them, which was enacted in part due to mass transit incident. For New Jack's part, after the match, he reportedly annoyed that ECW had let a legal minor wrestle a match and had already left the arena before police arrived. So, for later events, as already mentioned, Kulas did die in 2001 at the age of 22, but that was due to complications of surgery. So, when the episode of Dark Side of the Ring centered on New Jack, the Kulas family declined to participate in the episode. And up to his own death in 2021, New Jack did not express some remorse for the incident. And then just the day before his death, he reiterated that Kulas requested the blading. One positive that came out of the incident is that it made promoters and particularly independent circuit do more vetting on making sure wrestlers are legal age. An interview with Maven Hoffman about the incident in 2024, Devon said that he would not let his own sons enter the business until they were 18, and that due to the ramifications of the incident, Heyman would never ever even consider booking Kulas for another match, even once he had turned 18. So I thought I'd get that in as well because it is based on New Jack, but this video is going to be about New Jack's controversies because he is one big walking controversy, as well as this because this is a big part of wrestling. So, but if you hopefully it's alright. Very good at doing this stuff yet. But this someone called Sam Lock, I think. It's not exactly. I don't think it is based on the thing. I think it's from. I don't exactly know what it's from. But I thought this looked very similar because I didn't want to get done for anything. So I don't think this is the match. I just thought, I don't want to get done for anything, so I just thought put that in there instead. But comment on how I can do better on this because I'm not sure if I'm doing any good. But yeah.